We live. We back. StreamSpace. What's today? Friday? Friday night. We out here with a special guest, Will Cherry, in the building.
Thank you for having me.
We out here, man. Yeah. Hey, and let me get you the dap. We got to do the StreamSpace dap. That's important. That's good.
For sure.
Yeah, man. So, hey, let's just jump right into it. Will Cherry, he's an artist from Cleveland, Ohio, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right outside of Cleveland, yeah.
Right outside of Cleveland. Rapper, singer, like, what do you categorize yourself as? What would you say?
I would say probably rapper first.
Okay.
But I sing as well. But I'm not like a professional singer, so I wouldn't put like singer first.
Yeah.
Of a rapper.
Mm-hmm.
I produce too. I produce all my own music and produce for other people too.
Okay.
I mix all my own music, master my music.
Oh, so you like a Prince type of dude?
Yeah, by force, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what you mean by force? So like, you just feel like you couldn't, not you couldn't, but you just didn't really lock in with anybody, and you said, I'm just gonna do it all.
I think it was always a thing of the things I always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Have always been super specific.
Mm-hmm.
And also like my videos, I direct my videos and stuff. And
Okay.
so I think what I've always wanted was so specific that it took me to actually truly get to where I wanted to get creatively, as opposed to like trying to demand it out of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't say by force, but it was just what it was supposed to be. You know?
Yeah. I like that though, because some people, some people don't have it in them to kind of be able to take on those different hats.
That's true.
Right.
Yeah.
As a specific person that's able to take on those hats.
Yeah.
I mean, because that is a lot. Everything you just said is a lot. Not only are you writing, you're also making the beats, and then you're recording yourself, and you say you're mixing too.
Yeah,
you're mixing too, and then you have the creative direction for everything after that, from promo to video.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Those are hats that a record label might have 5-6 departments to do.
Yeah.
That's the reality of that.
That's true.
Yeah. So shout out to you for that.
Thank you.
Because there's that's a lot. Because I can relate to that, because I do a lot of that. I produce, I record, engineer, kind of push the creative ideas, so I can understand that. So that being said, a lot of that went into this new album, that process.
Yeah, this my new album, Somewhere in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, outside of like half of one song is produced entirely by me.
Okay.
It's the first album I actually mastered and mixed everything as well. Been mixing, but it's the first time I mastered.
Okay.
And it is it's my most collaborative album, but it also required the most out of me because I was doing more than I did before. But it's got a bunch of features from people from all over Ohio and outside of Ohio as well.
Okay.
So it's a mix of like me pushing myself to new heights creatively and like skill-wise,
mm-hmm.
while also having other voices come in and other opinions come in.
Yeah.
And mixing everything together.
Well, when you go in knowing that you're going to basically see this through from the beginning to end, what's the line in the beginning to just like, focus on writing? Or are you going in initially, you're focused on writing, but you're still thinking about the mix or like the final product, or are you really able to focus on just that first step?
Yeah, I think typically with my albums, it's usually like an all at once process.
Mm-hmm.
This is my third album. This is the first time that I tried to segment things. So like when I was producing songs and writing and recording, I was like, okay, this is the creation stage. I'm going to worry about mixing and getting everything how to sound how I want it
mm-hmm.
later.
Yeah.
And even with the videos, like usually I'll figure it out while I'm in the process of making the music. This time, I really wanted to finish the whole album first and then work on stuff,
mm-hmm.
which kind of like prolonged things, but at the same time, it made it a much easier to process. Because I was even talking to my girl about this earlier. Like, I always have so many things in my head at once.
Yeah.
Like, so many creative things, so many administrative things, and then you have like your creative life, and your work life, and your personal life. So like for me, the better I get at segmenting things,
mm-hmm.
the better the train works.
Yeah.
Or whatever,
So you feel like you kind of break it up in steps almost.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're going to eventually have to mix and master and
Right.
do the video, but
Right.
you can focus on just this first step.
Exactly.
I asked that question because, being in the studio, working with artists, some people kind of, in the early stages, they're doing all of that. The video can be this and this can be that.
Right.
And meanwhile, the song is like half written,
Yeah.
the concept is half there, so it seems like you've learned how to, find those steps along the way, finish one block, get it to a certain point, and then you feel more comfortable moving to the next stage.
I feel like sometimes you can be doing a disservice to one thing when you start thinking about the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I start talking about, well, the video can be like this, I might start feeling like, because I'm already inspired by the song to do the video, what more does the song need?
Yeah.
But if I'm just focusing on the song, I have like a clearer mind to improve it.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So what really comes first to you, if this is even like a, like a repetitive thing? Does the beat come first? Do you hear like lyrics in your head? Like what kind of inspires you to make these records from the jump?
It varies sometimes. I feel like I have like writing periods. So like I haven't written something in a little while. I really, when I'm in the process of making a project, is when I'm really writing a lot.
So that means the project's been done probably then, right?
Yeah, the project's been done since April. So
April?
Yeah.
We in August.
Yeah, but I've been having to do so much other stuff to get everything ready for the album.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, like usually I'll have ideas that I have written down when it's time to write. And the way I actually make a song is it's funny because it's kind of the antithesis of what I just said. I usually make the song all at once. So like I might have a loop of just keys, just like a little drum thing. I'll write the entire song to that, record the song, and then I'll produce the song as I start to
go back and add the other things.
Mix. Yeah.
See, I love that style because that's the style of like my production now, and I've learned to get to that space because as a producer, when you're kind of just making beats without any lyrics on hand, you can find yourself adding too much, right? So years ago, when I first started, it was just a lot going on because I hadn't really started working with artists and with lyricists. But now I kind of enjoy that process where you have a loop or you have a half-made idea or you have something that's very minimal. And if it's something that's already resonating, the artist is already you're going to catch the lyrics.
Right.
You know, and then you add the other things on the back end that really fit.
Exactly.
You know, you're not just rapping on a YouTube beat with just whatever. Yeah. You know, you go back and really find those other sounds that complement your lyrics and add to the story and add to the context.
Yeah, it's like shaping the music around the vocal. So, like, I guess the thing is, like, when I talk about segmenting things, for me, it's like the music process is the creation of music, then it's the mixing and mastering of music, then it's the creation of videos, and it's the creation of artwork, then it's the marketing, all as different things. So I don't want to make it seem like I got to make the beat and make it perfect, but I just got to have the music idea there, then I can move on to perfecting the idea.
Do you have a favorite stage or a stage that you kind of gravitate to more?
Maybe it might be making videos, honestly.
Really?
Yeah,
you're a young Quentin Tarantino. That's what you're a little young director.
Yeah, you know, one of the first songs I ever put out was called Death Proof.
Okay, that's crazy.
He's like my favorite. So
Quentin Tarantino? Yeah. That's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely I feel like that's the thing at this point in my life that I probably research the most and try to learn the most about is filmmaking. So like it really is kind of the funnest part, but I really do still enjoy making music.
Yeah.
Like it's extremely fun. I think with making videos, it's almost like a different sort of boundlessness to it.
There's something about the visual that just adds a new layer to the music.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that almost kind of wraps it all in together for the listener.
Yeah.
You know, for the consumer. You know, when you can hear the audio side of it, that's great. You can hear the story, it puts you into the zone. But the moment that you can add like a visual to it, it really okay, this is exactly what he's talking about. Like I see it. Yeah. You know, this is exactly what he's on right here.
It provides context, I feel like. Like it definitely contextualizes things, and it can definitely add on, maybe your imagination when you hear the song is one thing, the video can take you to a new place, and it might either steer you into a different place or it just adds on to what you already had. But I feel like it's just such a fun thing.
Now, have you ever thought about your music for sync licensing since you're so into film?
Yeah, we've looked into we talked to a couple different people. We're still trying to figure out different companies to work with and stuff like that.
Now that's a whole other bag. That's a whole other lane. That's a whole other world. You know, and kind of a slightly different thought process in terms of making records. I think one of the artists that I think of in hip hop that's done a real good job with that in terms of having a career that's sustainable is Vince Staples.
Yeah, because I've heard him talk about he's made whole albums with the idea of syncing it.
Yeah, you know, you're getting this music on video games, shows, movies.
Yeah.
You know, but I think even in hip hop, we get caught up in just records only being for songs and for albums.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, and not finding the other use cases for these pieces of art.
Yeah.
like movies, or shows or commercials.
Right.
You know, so shout out to the sync licensing.
Sure.
Let me know when you got something in the movie.
Yeah.
I'm running it up.
For sure.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. We've talked about this.
Yeah. That's
that's
an important question.
Because I have like a top 5. I think.
Well, give me the top 5 then.
Yeah.
We want to do one. Give me the top 5.
I'm not gonna remember all of them, but I know Inglourious Bastards in there.
Really?
For sure. No Country for Old Men is in there. Oh yeah, probably like maybe Superbad might be in there.
Superbad.
I feel like some Judd Apatow
Okay.
movie. Is there anything I'm forgetting that we've talked about a lot? I love that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know if it's in my favorite, but I love that movie. But
I gotta watch that again.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that again.
Did it not work the first time you saw it?
No, I just don't think I was in a good space. Not even that I was in a bad space. I just wasn't focused that day. I think I had a lot going on. I only watched like half the movie. Yeah, I gotta like give it its time.
The first time I saw it, I was working like 12-hour days at a factory, and like I was so excited to see it. And I think I got off of like a 12-hour shift at 7 p.m. The movie was at 7:15.
Went to the theater?
Yeah, I went to the theater to see it. It was like opening day, and like I loved it, but because the movie's like 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Your ass was tired. You was asleep.
Yeah, I couldn't truly enjoy it. So it's like certain movies like that, you definitely got to be in the right space to truly enjoy it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'm not a fan of going to movies past like 9 o'clock. What's the point? I'm not going to a 2-hour movie that start at 10:30.
Yeah.
Me and my girl was looking at a movie last night. One of the ones started at like 10 something. I'm like, for what? I already know. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
If I had my way, I'm going to a movie at like 11.
I like the matinees for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
we
up.
talk about that, yeah.
I come out still sunny, got the rest of my day.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah.
I hate when you go into a movie and it's sunny, you come out, it's pitch black.
I hate that too. We talked about that the other day. Yeah.
That's just the worst.
That's a great feeling when you leave the movie and the sun is still up, the day's not over, you have more to do.
Yeah.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah. Shout out to the movies though.
Yeah.
But so going into like you pushing the film aspect of your songs, how much of that do you channel from like film, or like where do you get that visual inspiration from?
The visual inspiration, definitely get it from films. Actually, like at my job, what I do all day, like Tubi gets a bad rap.
Tubi?
Yeah, Tubi
I'm a
gets
fan.
a bad rap. I love Tubi.
No, it does get a bad rap
because
though.
Tubi has so many classic art house movies that like I've heard of, some I haven't, but they have like classics and stuff like that. So I literally all day while I'm working will have movies on mute. I'm just looking at the color grading, the shot composition, the film stocks and different stuff like that, and just thinking about it. Like that's one of my favorite things is to look up what film stock was used for a movie. Like, so I'm always getting inspiration from always looking at things.
When you say film stock, well, what does that mean?
Like with any film, any movie that's shot on film, like they have like a certain type of film stock. Some might be better for receiving certain amounts of light. Some might be better in low light. Some might be better with different colors. Like there's like Kodak Gold, which has like a stronger color.
Now, is this more so like the lens of like the camera?
So this is actually the film that they put in.
The actual film. Got you. Film stock. Okay.
So like I think about like all these different things, and I definitely get inspiration from older stuff every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to the older stuff, man, because like as I'm progressing and I'm getting older, right, and even just in terms of creativity, I find more inspiration in like this older stuff. So like probably like the last couple months, I just things from the 60s, 70s, 80s, just like old, like anything random. Like 90s, I was in a 90s vibe for like a couple weeks. I'm just watching just like 90s movies because it just had a feeling. The plot seemed more in depth and more captivating. The film didn't have all the CGI, but it felt more relatable because it didn't have the CGI. These more straightforward film techniques. Going back and watching like Kubrick. Like Stanley Kubrick, I love watching him. He's one of my favorites. Quentin Tarantino is definitely one of my favorites. I'm a big fan of like The Dark Knight. So I go back and watch that movie a lot, like just over and over again. Because there's so many good elements in that movie. The music, the angles, the intro, the outro, the story. So I'm a huge fan of film. So I think we really, can connect on that. We probably in a later date talk about some more film stuff and a little more in depth. But yeah, talk a little bit about Somewhere in Ohio.
So I have Somewhere in Ohio, the album. Then I have Somewhere in Ohio, the film that we're currently shooting.
Gotcha.
Going to be premiering next week at the Grog Shop. It's $8 to get in. You're going to see the film premiere on top of performances from a bunch of different artists: Trav Hen, Sierra Delane, Kelevators, Peach Girls doing comedy, Nashay Yaman performing as well, and me performing.
Yeah, I'm damn near like a StreamSpace show,
Yeah.
minus the performer from Columbus and yourself. You know,
Yeah.
everybody else, that's all family.
Yeah.
So is the music like soundtrack to the album, or is the album more so the cherry on top to the music? No pun intended to the cherry. I didn't mean to do that. That just happened. You feel me?
So I made that. We actually wrote the film we wrote a version of the film some months ago.
Mm-hmm.
We just wrote the version that we're shooting like a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I've been working on the album for like maybe a year and a half, 2 years. And while I was making it, I knew I wanted to do a narrative film, which I've never done before. We had like music short films where it's almost like a collection of music videos.
Mm-hmm.
But this one's actually a film with people talking and stuff like that. But I didn't know exactly what the story would be when I made the music. The biggest thing is like, this is ironically because this is going to have like a film attached to it, but this is actually the most honest album I ever made. So like, it was easy to write the film without thinking about the music and making the music without thinking about the film, even though I was going to do both, because I'm really just writing from my perspective, writing about my feelings. Like the idea of all of it all together is just the feeling of an artist that feels like they're like kind of trapped and you're like trying to explore out of where you're at.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's so much that you love about where you're from.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like when people talk about Ohio, it's like the only in Ohio phrase. Like, they don't think of it as like a creative place that we talked about before.
Us against the world.
Yeah, it doesn't get its credit. So like, I wanted to highlight the good, but also talk about like the feeling of when you're so far away from the bigger cities and like the desperation that comes with it, the frustration that comes with it, and the inspiration that comes from it, like all of the feelings.
Yeah.
So the album is like inspirational.
So I mean, taking that concept from the album and kind of tapping into your own reality to that, what do you feel are some of the challenges being in Ohio for artists?
I think it's probably just less opportunities. And it's funny because like with every negative, you can make a positive of it if you want to.
In terms of like opportunities though, like what does that mean? Because I feel like Cleveland and Ohio has a lot of opportunities, but like, do you feel like that's because there's no record labels or multiple record? Like, if there were specifically like big record labels here, do you think that's one thing that would just change that?
Yeah, I think if there were record labels, if there were different types of agencies that catered to like music and creativity with connections to bigger companies that could give you like opportunities to make money from different deals and stuff like that. I think as well as just like, because there is industry in Cleveland, like music industry in Cleveland, but it's just maybe the focus is in different places. Like when we talk about the StreamSpace family, or like we host a thing called Club Ultraviolet, which is like, the whole idea of it is putting on artists that are like not artists that are in the club, and the whole thing is welcome to the club. This is for the club for people that don't go to the club. So like, it's certain things that exist but maybe aren't open, don't have the open door to certain types of artists. Whereas in a bigger city like New York, it's going to have every single type of niche. Because it's so big. So
I mean, I asked that question, it's like a dual question, not only for the sake of the interview and to pick your brain, but also to try to find a solution. I ask that question all the time. I mean, we probably both do have those questions with multiple people all the time, to try to find some way to kind of elevate Cleveland and move us forward, because there is no record labels here. We don't got a bunch of, A&Rs and executives and, running around. Clearly we're not L.A. and New York and, Miami, Atlanta, but moving forward, what can we do to kind of shine light to new artists, like yourself and other talented artists that are coming up, to give them those opportunities, besides having to like feel like you have to move?
Yeah, so that's why we created Club Ultraviolet, is because like we wanted to give a platform to people that were creative and maybe wouldn't be seen in different places. And also like with Club Ultraviolet, something I've been proud of, especially one of the shows we had recently, was after the show ended, it was a room of like some of the dopest, most talented, creative DJs, artists, designers, everybody in the same room. And after the last act performed, everybody just like partied for like an hour. And there was no one that told them to do that. It was just the energy was in that way. And people met each other, people built connections, and like all of that in itself is going to help foster a better community. You just, because sometimes you just need the opportunity to meet somebody. And then you never know what could happen from there. So That StreamSpace
Yeah.
is definitely important.
We trying to play our part.
Yeah, like that was super. Because one of the things I always talk about, I went to school for journalism, so like I really love journalism, really love media, and I love covering hip hop. I wrote for a couple different places at some point.
Okay.
So like it matters a lot to me. So it's important that this exists because we need somebody to document the scene.
Yeah.
So
It's funny you say that because I saw a post from Trav a while back, just kind of saying that same thing, that we need somebody to really document the scene, in the right way, not in like I think there's like a piece of the pie where it's just not consistent.
Yeah.
We need somebody to document the scene and be around for a while.
Yeah.
Really see the stages and the waves.
Yeah.
If we had just like a consistent thing that was like, documenting the scene of Cleveland and all the different changes of the different artists and the different parties and the different events and just the way Cleveland has kind of morphed over the years. But yeah, we need more of that, and more. I think the word is community.
For sure.
Because Atlanta, New York, these other places kind of have better community. I think they mingle way more than us. They network at a higher rate than us.
Sure.
And it's more than just going out, and people they get that confused.
Yeah.
They think going out is networking.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
They think going out is like brushing shoulders, and I was outside and like, no, you didn't talk to nobody, you didn't brush any ideas off anybody, you didn't get any numbers, so yeah, shout out to kind of creating these new environments and these new spaces for that.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I mean, that's a great point you just made too, because like I'm talking about having like my own event series and stuff and doing events, and I'm an introvert, so like I don't do well with like being strange and stuff like that. But I feel like if you have a goal, if you have something that you want to do, if you have something you're passionate about, you should push yourself to do it. But also, I guess nobody. I don't know if people owe anything, but I would like for there to be spaces that encourage that as well.
Yeah.
So that's why we create that. And like even like we talked about a Mike and Light at the first one with Trav.
Yeah.
Like I'd never met you before, but I walked up and said, "My name is Will Cherry.
Yeah.
I watch yours because I watch your streams. So it's like I want to let you know that I know who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's important to do that.
It is though, and I do the same thing when I go out and I see somebody, that especially when because we've all been there where you see somebody online or a brand online, you see them in person, go up and make that real connection,
Right.
And let them know, like you said, I've been tapped in, I see what you're doing,
Right.
Because that could be motivation to that person,
right.
And everybody needs that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, somewhere in Ohio, shout out to Ohio, man. I definitely think it's a gem that's just waiting to still be fully uncovered.
For sure.
You feel that way?
Yeah, I definitely feel like that way. Like, that's why I made this album when I made it, was because, like, I felt like it was my story, but I feel like it was also a lot of people's story. And, like, on the album, like, I have Sierra on there, I have Trav on there, I have Kip Stone on there, I have 10 Miles on there, I have Wes Will on there, I have, I don't know if there's anybody I don't have on there.
Yeah.
Anybody that's not on there, I probably had them on something else.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And that was because whatever this does, I wanted to immediately shine a light on everybody. So like that's my biggest goal, is because I've been like probably since like 2014, 2015, been like just watching the Cleveland scene, even coming from Elyria. And
so you were like born in Elyria?
Yeah, I was born in Elyria.
Okay.
And still live in Elyria.
Is there like does Cleveland seem distant from Elyria? Like, what's the perception of Cleveland from Elyria? Or is it just like around the corner? We just like almost like I don't know if you're familiar with Akron.
Yeah.
But like Akron is like down the street,
Yeah. I feel like it's only as distant as you allow it to be. So like for me, because I wanted to be a music journalist, and I love music, I was just immediately interested. So I was actually just talking to another one of my friends recently. Like the first show I ever went to was an Ilty show.
Yeah.
And Joey H performed, Tay Miles performed, and I met Tay that night, and that was the first time I ever talked to him or met him. I sent him 73 beats that night.
73.
73 beats that
like
night.
That's not even exaggerated.
Yeah, that was the exact number. Was 73 beats, and he recorded one of them. But like,
what'd you send that on? You can't just send that in the email. What you had,
like
a Dropbox?
$1 million emails.
What's it, multiple emails.
It was so many emails.
This would be 4 Dropbox.
Yeah. So
that's funny.
Like for me, at that moment, my first, because I'd been listening to him and I like knew of certain names.
Yeah.
But like being there, I started to realize like it's amazing talent here. and like I'll start going to the grog shop and like seeing all these different performers going into like now that's class as it was called at the time, and different shows like not libraries but like bookstores and record stores and
all over the place.
Just little stuff, just being like, man, we have so many dope people. And then when I felt like inspired to make music, it was like, okay, I felt like Illyria was a place that's dope people. There's dope people in Illyria, but I never felt like I was disconnected from Cleveland because I was already interested in it.
Yeah.
Like the first show I ever threw was in Illyria in 2017, and I brought out Tay, I brought out Chelsea Pastel from Cleveland.
Yep.
So like, I was always connected, I felt like.
Now, how far is Illyria from here?
It's like 25, 30
25?
minutes. Yeah. So
that's not bad. That's not bad, man. That's actually a little closer to Akron. And Akron, I feel like, is way more tapped into Cleveland than Illyria is.
Yeah, for sure. I think the thing, too, is like with Illyria, it's maybe not as many people. Like, you've had Low up here, Westside Low.
Yep.
You had A.K.A. Fabian.
Wait. But I thought that was like Lorraine.
They're from like both, really.
How far is Illyria from Lorraine?
They're sister cities.
They're like right there.
Yeah, so it's like all the same.
So that's like Akron, Canton.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's really close to each other.
Okay.
So it's like,
because you start naming all of them, but I kind of in my mind they're like Lorraine. Whenever I hear them, I'm like Lorraine. You know.
It's basically like the same thing because it's so close to each other. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, like we have people like that who come out to Cleveland, do stuff, and like are part of the community in Cleveland. I guess it's just not as many people from that side.
I mean, yeah, it's a smaller little town. You know,
so
Illyria.
it's just not going to be as much, I guess. But
yeah,
it's a dope connection.
I mean, we're all here, man. You know, it's the Midwest.
Exactly.
You know, we out here.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Midwest. But yeah, man, I'm excited to hear the album. I did want to ask too. You say you were into journalism.
Yeah.
Which came first? You know, you starting to write rhymes, or you already into kind of more writing?
So I was making music. Well, the first thing I ever did was write a screenplay when I was like 12 years old.
So that can be even before the music.
Yeah.
So you've really been into the visual aspect, or more so production.
Yeah. The thing is, like, since I was a little kid, I chose my stage name, my original old stage name, Will C.
Will C.
When I was 7 years old.
Now, is Cherry your real last name?
No, it's not. It's
okay.
a stage name.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
So yeah, I chose my
I was about to say, because if that was your birth name, I'm like, yo, God gave you a good one.
Yeah.
Will Cherry, that's a crazy, like, if that was your real, but either way, you got there.
Yeah. So like when I was 7, I chose that name. I knew I wanted to make music. I knew I wanted to make movies and stuff. Like first person I ever looked up to, first two was like Kanye and Will Smith.
Yeah.
So like watching Will Smith, I was like listening to the songs he had out and the movies at the same time and watching a TV show. So I always like,
he was doing a lot.
Yeah.
When you just put it like that, I'm like, damn, he was doing.
So
he was
like,
out here.
My introduction, like the first CD I bought was a Will Smith CD.
Shout out Will, yeah.
Yeah. So like I always loved the idea of being able to do all these things. So when I was 12, I wrote a screenplay. Not too long after, I wrote like a full album, and it was none of it was good, but I just felt inspired as a kid.
And what age you said? 12?
12 years old. Yeah. So like I was doing all of that, and then I got into journalism like a little bit later. Like I was in high school. Every day, I would read Pitchfork, Complex. Like I had the Hype Beast, all these places I would just have to read every single day.
Yeah.
Like, and that was the funnest thing to me ever, was just to read about culture.
Yeah.
So
that was a fun, not to cut you off, but that was a fun time when you had to hit your bases. For your knowledge, and then now it just hits you. You just scrolling whatever you're gonna get some. It's just going something. Basically, a million things getting thrown at you now. Where back in the day, like you said, you had your couple magazines. You might have had a few websites, couple blogs. You had to hit your bases to make sure you got your shit together. Yeah. So shout out to the old days, man. I ain't trying to feel like an old head, but
no, that was like my favorite things to do. Like, and so as I got to college, like I wasn't as inspired to make music, even though I had been doing it. But I was inspired to talk about music, so that's what pushed me towards like, let me just take some classes, try to learn about writing and journalism, and
right,
try to learn like the basics of it. Then I got more drawn back to music, so I just
like the creation of it.
Yeah. But like it's always been music in any form.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now, what else do you listen to outside of hip hop that kind of inspires you?
All types of stuff. Like I have a playlist. My girlfriend makes fun of me. Because it's over 4,000 songs, and it's just any song I like anything about. So like,
and this is outside of hip hop stuff.
Yeah, it's everything.
Well, hit me with some stuff that you like outside of hip hop. I'm curious.
Probably like the biggest stuff I like is Jodeci.
Okay.
D'Angelo.
Yeah. Soulful.
Yeah, a lot of soul, 90s R&B, random acts that like have like one or two albums in the '90s. They fell off when the album was really
You
good.
found some good stuff there though.
Yeah, same with like '70s soul singers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be stuff like I just have a library saved with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like random, but and I like some newer like soul stuff like PJ Morton and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Certain artists, but I definitely like love soulful stuff the most. That's my favorite thing.
Okay.
And hip hop flows into that too.
Who's like the hottest artist out right now on the hip hop side, in your opinion?
Who's the hottest in hip hop?
On like the big scale.
On a big scale.
Who you fucking with?
I think it would probably have to be Kendrick as like the biggest rap
Kendrick?
song out right now. Yeah.
He definitely got one of the biggest rap songs,
Yeah.
and Not Like Us came through like a tidal wave.
Yeah, so he would probably be like the hottest rapper in like the mainstream.
Now, are you like you're a Kendrick fan?
Yeah, I'm a big
You're a
Kendrick
fan?
for sure.
What'd you feel about his last album,
I thought it was very
Mr.
dope.
Morale? You was
Yeah.
with it.
I thought it was really great. I thought like I love because I have a lot of attention to detail
Mhm.
like in all the stuff I try to make, and I feel like he's probably the most attentive to detail. And like I hear like a lot of that in Dre, and I feel like maybe Dre influenced that, or
Definitely.
like I love that
Yeah.
about his music. So I feel like that was one of those albums where not a bar was wasted,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that about that album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the albums where you really got to give it multiple listens to. This isn't a one-time listen and then you got your opinion. You just got to go back. Because it's a lot to swallow. He's talking about it a lot. Like these concepts are thick. This isn't a willy-nilly. I'm gonna roll this blunt and I'm gonna drive this car. No, he was talking some deep stuff.
That's why I love it, because I feel like so much stuff people aren't talking about anything.
True.
And that's why I feel like even with my own music, like I made Somewhere in Ohio, and it's my most personal, most meaningful work, because I feel like in a time where nobody's saying anything, it's the best time to say everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that about him too.
Yeah. One of the best concerts I've ever been to was a Kendrick concert down in Columbus on the Damn Tour.
I didn't see
And
that.
yeah, I seen him live in Columbus, Damn Tour. And what amazed me was just, I love when I see artists on stage by themselves.
Yeah,
Not a hype man,
I like that too.
not no dancers,
Yeah.
wasn't the band. And I love a band. I'm a musician. I love a good band.
Yeah.
But seeing him and being able to control the crowd and, seeing him and be able to control the stage and read the room. And I think that really shows a strong entertainer. How do you feel about like the performance aspect? Like, are you looking forward to performing this album as well?
I am for sure. Like, and the things you mentioned, like I study him and I study Tyler and a few different people, like early Kanye and even like 2010s Kanye. Like a lot of.
I'm a Kanye fan.
Yeah, like a lot of people I study because like I try to gain from watching.
Yeah.
Like their stage presence, the way they interact with the crowd, like the banter.
Yeah.
How you move on stage, like everything is like so calculated and so great. So like I'm excited to perform this album. Like I engineered a lot of these, not literally engineered, but like I made this for the live setting for sure.
That's what my next question was going to be, like, once you have the album and you start to really feel the vibe of it, especially once you get the visuals and you really start feeling how it makes you feel. Do you create a set? Like, do you kind of have a set in mind, like a live show? Does that aspect come into the process too?
Exactly. Yeah. As we were talking about like the steps, that's one of those steps too. Like my live performance, and like I want to do a tour. Like I've toured like around the Midwest and toured Ohio and stuff like that. I want to do like a Somewhere in America tour.
That'd be fire.
Like I definitely am thinking about. Like I alter all of my songs for the live show and stuff like that as well. Like so I'm definitely thinking about that.
Do you run it differently than the order of the album too?
Yeah, for sure.
You switch it up?
Yeah.
And do you combine your set, like, will you still combine it with older songs, or do you just only do a set with just your live?
No, I like
or just your, like, new tape?
Yeah, I like to do a mix. Like, I try to, as I put more stuff out, try to put more of the stuff into the show, especially because I feel like every time I make something that's better than what I made before, so I want to present that instead. But yeah, it's definitely going to be like a mix. Like I have like some of my best, not even my best, but like just some of my
you gotta play the bangers though.
Yeah, songs that people know and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm definitely gonna have those for sure.
Now, do you feel like you got some, like, one of them ones on this new tape too?
I do.
Yeah.
I feel like I have this song called Motion. I feel like that's the one. I feel like the title. That's the thing too. Like I dive into a lot of different genres. So like Motion is like a rap song that I feel like people love. I got the song called Motion. Or Motion I already said, but Somewhere in Ohio, the title track is like a folk song. I think I performed it before and people have loved it.
Yeah.
At like so far shows and like more, chilled out environments, and it always strikes people.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a few of those.
I was listening to some of your music before you came over just to kind of tap in, you know, and make sure that I was aware, you know. But I was listening to Genesis, you know, and that's when, you know, when you start to say you had a folk track, you know, that don't surprise me because like Genesis definitely was a track that took me on a journey, you know, to be a lyricist and to expect someone to give you bars, but then have Genesis and you know the vibe of that track. I wasn't expecting it in a good way.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, you had the singing on there. You really got into like a pop vibe. You know, super melodic. I like that track a lot. What was the other one though? I was listening to another one though. Ice. That was my joint though. And then, but then you flipped to Ice, and I'm like, hold on, he got one right here though. That Ice is fire. I like that. You got a bop like that on the new album.
I think the Motion one is that one.
That's that one. That's
I got
that.
a couple that I think are like.
See, I love bounce.
Yeah.
I like, you know, and I love melodic songs, you know, but for me, if I had my choice, I love songs that got bounce, songs that got some energy, is kind of up, you know. Ice is my joint. I'm gonna be running that. I DJ here and there too, so don't be surprised if I play Ice on the playlist. You feel me?
Thank you. Like the vibe you're talking about, like I love melody's probably my favorite thing, but I love like the pockets and different rhythms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like just getting into like weird rhythms with the drums and everything like that. So Ice is one of those songs that I love. I got a few more like that. Like it's high energy, but it's a little bit different than maybe you hear from somebody else. Like, I love that. And
you say you worked on this album for what, like a year and a half?
Yeah, probably about it. I think I made Genesis was actually one of the first songs I made.
Now, was Genesis on this album?
Yeah, Genesis on the album.
So was that like the single for the album?
Yeah, that and another song came out called Full Metal Jacket that had Banky on it.
I was listening to that, yeah.
Those are both on there.
Got you.
I started it like, I put out my last album, Ultraviolet, that Ice was on, October 2022. And I started this like November. It's a couple songs that are on this album that I made in an album I made in a week, November 2022. I was in a slump and like I just wasn't feeling good. So I tried to push myself creatively to make an album in a week. And I did it. And then a couple of those songs are going to be on this. So Genesis is one of them. It's another one.
Nice.
Like Ice had Sango on, another one that has Sango as well.
Okay. Okay.
Here. So yeah.
I'm excited though, man. That, and you know, shout out to Will Cherry, man. If y'all haven't listened to any of his music, definitely go back, listen. You know, he has some music out on Apple Music, Spotify, everywhere. You know, and that's a good precursor to the album that he has coming up. You know, if it's a new artist, I like to try and get prepared. I like to try and get aware. Not saying you're going to be in the same vibe that you already put out, you know, but you want to go back and kind of see where the artist is coming from, what he's done. But that makes you more excited for the new work.
Yeah, and I would recommend as well, like, if you're listening to me for the first time, go to my YouTube.
Okay.
Like, watch my videos. And get, like, that side of me as well.
I haven't watched any videos yet, and now that we talked about the film aspect, I'm excited for that. Yeah, I'm excited. Now, do you think you would do some stuff in film outside of the music, more sort of like short film, like real, like film, like movie aspect?
Yeah, this is this is going to be a narrative film that we're going to be premiering next week.
Really?
But I want to do like a feature film, like a 90-minute feature film. I honestly want to do it like next year. Like I want to. That's my goal. Like I have my own camera, a cinema camera, like which I've been wanting for so long.
What kind of camera you got?
It's an FX30.
Oh yeah, the Sony FX30.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's on my list. That's a good camera right there.
I want to get a cinema camera because like I wanted to have the ability to like make videos at the level I made before, but also be able to make actual films and like have it feel like a movie. So
you're really studying like camera work too?
Yeah, I'm studying everything. Like, and my goal.
Self-taught.
Yeah. My goal was never be like a cinematographer necessarily, but like you have to because of the situation. So I've been studying that. I've been studying like just the art of direction, the art of editing, like everything, because you have to. But
that's gonna come in handy because you know, when you get to a place where you can reach out to somebody who's better than you can at least talk the language.
Right.
You know, so there'll be a day where you know you're working with somebody who really is a film director, and they're like, "What you want, Will? What you trying to do?" And you can say, I need this angle, I need this pan, I need the lights like this, I need this, and that. Exactly. You know, versus you like, oh, I don't know, I just need, you know, like you could talk that language.
Yeah.
You know, so I always try and encourage people to like learn as much as you can about whatever you're interested in.
For sure.
You know, because you at least want to be in the room with people and be able to talk that language.
I definitely believe that. And I feel like one of the things I tell all my friends too is like, and just anybody, I feel like every artist should direct their own videos. That's like my radical idea.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
no matter what, just
do it. Like even if you have help, but still be involved because I feel like nobody understands your vision more than you do. So even if you don't do it all yourself, be heavily involved. Like,
Well, how do you find vision though? Because I feel sometimes people, I mean, I've seen it. We're in the session and they're just like, not that it's a bad thing, but I don't really know what to write about, and then you find something to write about, and I don't really know where to take it, and then, then you do have a song, and they're like, I don't really know, like where do you how do you find vision? For people that want to do that, like, man, I would love to kind of, come up with our own videos, but I don't see it.
I would say I think it's less of a skill issue, more of an inspiration issue. Like maybe you just something hasn't clicked with you to give you the inspiration you need to want to do something. Like, because I have those times where I'm uninspired, I don't know what to do, and something hits me, I just jump out the bed, I jump out the chair, I jump out of whatever.
It grasps you, and
But something has to prompt it,
So,
yeah, I feel like I don't know anybody that's like just a machine that just constantly pours out without having to get something poured into them. So something has to hit you probably.
Well, the pour in side isn't the most glamorous. I think that's overlooked. Like when you look at like social media, like nobody's like really. I mean they do. I don't say they do show what inspires them, but they really don't. It's always this is the product. This is the final. This is what I'm putting out. This is what I'm on. This is what I'm wearing. This is what I'm dropping. Without showing the inspiration side. This opened my eyes to this, something new, So I love watching international movies, or I got records that's like international, and I feel like that's super inspiring for me, for a producer.
Sure.
Like, get me out of American shit. Like today, like I'll just listen at work. I just listen to just random records to find samples. I'm just on YouTube typing random things in. I was what I type in. I typed in Russian brass, or like just rare Russian samples, just trying to find the most obscure random things. And not only does it, lead me to good samples, but it's like education. I'm hearing these records, these vibes from different countries. I don't know the lyrics or what they're saying, but I'm getting exposed to that. So it just seems like the answer to your question is vision is just exposing yourself to more things, really.
Yeah, expose yourself.
Get outside a little bit.
Be open to the inspiration. Like even what you said, what you said was the perfect answer to like not being able to find a thing on social media, like because you probably won't find a person explaining how they got to where they got on social media because they're trying to sell you what they have to sell, as opposed to trying to give you the tools to be able to do it yourself. So like, there's no Tarantino interview on video that I haven't seen. There's no Kanye interview on
seen
video.
It all.
Tyler, all the people that I look up to, I've seen them speak on everything because I'm searching to see how they got to do what they did. So like, definitely either watch the work or watch people talk about how they made the work.
Now, do you have a cutoff switch where it's like, I don't want to see nothing nobody else is doing. I don't want to see it. I'm only focused on whatever I'm on and what I'm doing.
I actually definitely have those periods. I have those periods, especially with modern music. I have times where it's like, if my friends send me something, if I see something, like I'm not listening. I don't want to hear anything that anybody's making right now.
Yeah, no.
Because I don't want to be influenced. Or like, I might be so like, I don't know, like, I might just be, not sad, but like, at the state of things, just like, this is not going to inspire me to hear something that I don't like.
Yeah.
So it's like, let me just disconnect myself.
I've heard it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I definitely have that switch sometimes you gotta turn off.
Yeah. I mean, you got to sometimes. Like you said, sometimes you just need to cut it off, focus on whatever's in you.
Yeah.
Whatever you're on.
Yeah.
Because on the flip side of that, I've been in sessions and people get to rapping and I'm like, yep, you're a Young Thug fan.
Yeah.
Yep, you're a Wayne fan.
Yeah.
Wayne is always the one rapper that I can always pinpoint. And maybe not so much as time progresses, but there was like a period probably like a good maybe like 4 or 5 years ago where like Wayne was still really in people's like flows. Where I can just really tell like you definitely listen to Wayne.
Yeah, I think and for me it's like what's the point of doing it at that point? You know what I mean? Like
they don't know they're doing it though.
Yeah, well I mean like what's the point of doing anything? Like what's the point of being in a studio?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because for me, it's like, is it really expression? Which is
but that's the thing, though. They don't know they sound like Wayne.
That's true.
They think they're doing something new.
Yeah.
But then they come to me, the producer, and I'm listening to them from the outside. I'm like, you sound just like Future, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, for real? I'm like, who's your favorite artist? They're like, Future. I'm like, clearly.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
And that's important. I to an extent, every artist goes through it. So
true.
I do understand
that's true.
I do feel like you have to reach the point where you try to break out of it. Like, like I said, I grew up on Kanye. Like, I had very Kanye things. And I feel like inspiration wise, and you know, you have these different artists that inspire you and they create your DNA as an artist. The thing is just that you never want to sound like you were just inspired by one artist.
Yeah.
Because that means it's not inspiration, you're just copying them. And I feel like that's the thing. It's just you have to like blend your inspirations, and you have to feel like you're letting you shine through as opposed to just regurgitating what already exists.
That being said, do you feel like you found your sound?
For sure. I feel like the Will Cherry sound, I feel like honestly like it was shades of it probably my first couple projects, probably my last 3 or so projects were like truly the Will Cherry sound, where like it has like the flashes of my favorite artists, but then it's like a song that they just would not make for whatever reason.
That's purely
It's like
you.
you can only get it from me.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Ice is a song like you hear, like I love Travis, like you might hear like a Travis inspiration in there, you might hear like a Kanye inspiration in there, but it's like I don't think either one of them would make that song themselves.
Ice was a very what's the word I want to look? I mean, it was like what's the word? Ice was, there's a word I'm looking for and I can't find it right now, but Ice was almost like you've heard it before, but you haven't heard it before.
It's like familiar.
It was familiar.
Yeah.
Ice was very familiar. That's a good word.
Yeah.
It was familiar, but it was still fresh at the same time. It didn't sound like I couldn't listen to Ice and be like, this sounds like somebody. But it was familiar because, like you said, it had elements of different things that you can kind of hear, like maybe a little Travis or some other things. But it still had a nice amount of originality in it too.
Yeah, I feel like that's the way to go because, like, for me, that's what I feel inspired to do is, like, I feel inspired to, like, somebody might inspire me to do a certain thing or make a certain choice. But then as I'm making a song, like, it's certain choices I make. Like, a lot of my music, like, I pitch up a lot of vocals. Like, that's a song where the hook is pitched up. And, like, I don't know probably any mainstream artist that has, like, just had a song where, like, the main vocals just pitched up and it just sounds weird. And it's just how we put it out. Like, it's certain, like, weird choices like that. Or even, like, the outro of the song where it just goes into, like, the foreign exchange sort of R&B outro. Like, it's certain choices where it's, like, you have to let yourself shine through.
Yeah. Shout out to that, man. You definitely got a lot of artistry in you. I like that.
Thank you.
I like that. You know, when did you say you made your first record? What was it, 2012? Or was it before that?
Made like my first like project, or like just made a first song.
Just like your first, like how long you kind of been doing your music thing?
I made like my first stuff as a kid, 08.
Okay, yeah. So you've been at it for a minute.
But I put out my first like full length project 2020.
2020.
Yeah.
So from 08 to 2020, what was that? Was that like development? Were you just dropping like singles, like collaborating?
Yeah, it was like collaborating, producing for other people.
I mean, because that's a long time, low key.
Well,
I mean, 08 to 20, like.
Yeah, I was making stuff. Like I would make projects and stuff like that. And like I had like mixtapes and stuff that came out.
Gotcha.
And I had like in 2017, I put out an EP that like did kind of well for me and got me on like Lyrical Lemonade in like a couple different places. And
Got you on the radar.
Yeah, it started to get me on things, and then I was working on my first album, Burgundy, that I put out a couple years later. But like in the gap between that, I feel like I had to develop and like just learn more about myself, figure out my voice, figure out my production, and grow with other artists and stuff and work with people. So yeah, I think it was just I never wanted to force anything.
Yeah.
Like in between that, since then I put out a project every year, be it a album or a mixtape. I put out like 20 music videos, direct music. Like I've been on go ever since.
You really about that visual, like you take that serious.
I do.
Not saying you don't take the music serious, but you take it to the next level with really doubling down on the visuals.
I think it matters as much as the music for me. So yeah, since then, like I've done like all these different things, and I feel like before then I was doing what I was supposed to do and taking my time, and now I'm doing what I'm supposed to do as with being active. Like it's just always been about what I feel comfortable with doing and what am I inspired to do. And probably if another time comes where I need to sit down, I'll just sit down. Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. So when's the album dropping?
The album, we don't have a date yet.
Okay.
But probably within the next couple months. Same with the film, like probably within the next couple months. Between now and then, we got the show next week.
Okay.
For $8, you can get all next Friday. Thank you.
Next Friday. Where we at?
At the Grog Shop.
At the Grog Shop.
For $8, you see all these different artists.
$8.
Comedy. It's very cheap. It's incredible.
No, $8 is a good price. Now hold on. Now this is just a pause. Now,
yeah.
Now what can you get that's really good for $8 in Cleveland? Come on now, he giving you something good now.
A corned beef sandwich. That's about it.
And that's gonna be more than $8.
Right.
Slimers ain't playing that.
Right.
That's an easy $12.
Yeah. So like this is like I wanted it to be like my cheapest event too because I just wanted it to be like I wanted the price to be bizarre. Because I feel like all of these artists are going to be incredibly important in music. I feel like the brands we got
no, they are.
Yeah,
no, the artists that you named, to me, I've seen them all perform multiple times in my face.
Yeah.
Most of them have been down here. You know, I've seen them out in public.
Yeah.
I know all those artists are top tier.
Yeah.
You know, great performers. Take it serious. You know, none of those artists that you name are half-assed.
For sure.
So I mean, seriously, $8 is like that's a steal.
And like Peach Curl's doing comedy.
Yes.
And we got the film premiere, which is its own thing. And we have the brands Calm and Cozy, Incentive, Pray for the Prey. Like, it's so much involved in it that I want it to be like, this is the most accessible thing that you'll ever see that's this big.
Ain't no excuse.
Yeah.
Basically, what you're saying is there's no excuse for you to come out and get this good art.
Exactly.
And get this good experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shout out to that. Shout out. Hey, come on. What is that? The 23rd?
23rd. Doors open at 7, show at 8.
7, show at 8.
Yeah.
So get there at 6. Get there early.
Exactly.
Just get there early, lock in, walk down to Cilantro Taqueria, get you a couple tacos, because I eat there. I don't go to Chipotle no more. Chipotle pisses me off. So we go to Cilantro now. So go get you a couple tacos, get you a little drink, and then come on back. Because Will Cherry got it for you. He ready.
Facts.
You feel me? Tap in.
Yeah.
I was about to say StreamSpace. Spotify. Apple Music. Tidal.
Literally every single thing you could think of on there.
Now what's up with the Will Cherry with the 3 R's?
Yeah, that's just for social media.
Just because they hating.
Yeah, the 2 R's were taken by people that never use their social media.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah, it's like I don't know why they needed it so bad.
Man, so my producer name is Savage Royale, and there's like a random white kid that's like 11 years old that got Savage Royale on YouTube.
Of course,
pisses me off.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're not even doing nothing, bro.
They never are.
Like, you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
Why do you even have the name Savage Royale?
That's true. Yeah, it's like
I was mad.
Yeah.
So you just had to use the 3 R's.
Yeah, I had to use the 3 R's. I didn't want to, because I don't like the Instagram names where it's like, it has nothing to do with like the artist. Like,
or just a random underscore at the end.
Yeah, it's like, it looks ugly to me. So I want the 3 R's. Because if you look too fast, you don't notice it's an extra R.
No, you don't, though. It took me, it was like after a while, I'm like, hold on, is that 3 R's? I had to like zoom in and shit.
Yeah.
But then it threw me off. I was like, is this really his like artist name?
Yeah.
But then I figured it out. I see what you was doing.
Exactly.
And we all know that, though. I mean, it was funny. I had another artist on StreamSpace recently, and Instagram hating on their name.
Yeah.
So we had to like come through a thing. I was like, put the real in front of your name. So his name is like the real something, whatever his name is. I think it's 200 Kane. Okay. But something that happened where they was hating. So now his Instagram is just 20 Kane instead of 200 Kane. He's like, it made him drop a 0. I'm like, you can't be out here at 20 Kane. You cutting yourself short. You're cutting yourself short.
Yeah. What about like 200 Kane?
Oh, you mean like an O instead of
like
a 0? Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Things like you got to really finesse the system.
Yeah, because it looks like it, but then if you type it in, you might not see it.
You ever hate social media?
A lot of the time.
And just not want to do it, but you have to because you will, Cherry, and you got a mission to accomplish.
Like it's terrible. Like the algorithms and everything like that. It's like it's really bad. It makes it easy to hate it. You know?
Real easy to hate it.
Yeah.
But you got to press through. You ever thought much about like direct to consumer, like things that you can just do to just go direct to your fan base?
Yeah, we're building like the email list and stuff like that. Like
there you
I
go.
want to get deeper in that. We have willcherry.us, the website.
There you go.
So I definitely want to build on that more and like make things that are exclusive to that. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hey, those things are important, man. You know, it's 2024, and sometimes that social media stuff can get kind of stale. Yeah, you know, and it's best to just the bread and butter is never going to get old. Just give it directly to the person.
Facts.
You know, so tap in, y'all. But yeah, it's been a fire conversation, man.
It's been dope, man. I definitely want to come back too when the album's out or something like that.
No, yeah, when the album's out, come back. You know, maybe if you can perform a couple songs, you know, perform a few. We'll do a little, you know, interview on that side. See how the album's kind of feeling to you once it's out.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I don't know if the music ever feels any different to you once it's actually out.
That's the thing. That's one of the things with this album too. Like, usually after I put an album out, it's hard for me to listen to it. It feels kind of old, or I start thinking like all the things that.
So you don't listen to your stuff when it's out?
I used to. The thing with this album, I finished it in April. I probably listened to it 2 or 3 times since then.
Really?
So I don't listen to it once it's done anymore.
No.
So when it comes out, it actually be fresh to me.
Now, do you watch your visuals more when they come out?
Yeah, she makes fun of me for that. Like I like literally every couple of days I'll just play every single video I have on YouTube. I'm analyzing it to try to see like because first of all I don't like to repeat myself, so I'm trying not to repeat myself, but also see like what I did right, what I did wrong. So all the time I do that. That never gets old.
See, what always blows my mind is like somebody like not Jack Sparrow, but Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He says, you don't watch his movies.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of actors say
That's
that.
wild to me.
Yeah.
I'm not taking months of my life, if not a year, to record to act and perform and shoot a movie and then not watch it. That's just wild to me.
I actually kind of understand it though, especially because now we're acting for this movie. Like,
oh, you're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it. Like, I'm the lead actor in it.
Oh, you're really.
I'm not an actor. Like, my goal is not really to be an actor, but for the purpose of this, like, I needed to be an actor in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, it is kind of cringy to watch yourself act. I feel like if you're a director, maybe it's easier to watch it, or like
just
writer.
hate your voice, hate
like
every little thing you do. It's like, damn, I look like that.
Yeah, you overanalyze everything. So I definitely get why some actors are like, I'll never watch my
It's just cringy.
I've heard a lot of them say that.
I mean, I think you kind of get over it after a while, though. Like, I guess that's me. It's like, nah.
Yeah, like I don't know. It is something kind of cringe. You know what it is too? Like, it's something weird about trying to be someone. You know, like I feel like there's something inherently corny to it.
It's like for us, we're like, man, he's in character, but for you, you're like, that is not me.
Yeah, so I can imagine like why people like I can watch myself in this, but I can imagine I'm also kind of playing myself, so I couldn't imagine like if you dressed up like a whole other person, it's probably like, bro, I can't look at this.
Yeah,
I can understand it.
That's crazy. That's what I mean. If that was me, I'm watching everything. Yeah. I mean, oh yeah, as soon as that shit drop, I'm watching that shit. For sure. Because I've also heard how people are kind of paying attention, actors are paying attention to the process, and then it kind of goes ghost for a minute, and then the movie drops, and then they watch it, and they be like, "Damn, I forgot about that scene," or "You cut out this," or they don't even expect it, kind of because you could do so much on the post editing of like a film to really alter it.
Yeah, and like I know it's so many takes that you do, so many different inflections, different things you try.
Same thing, like damn, he chose to use that.
Yeah, so I can imagine that can make it fun.
Yeah. Shout out to that though. I'm definitely excited to watching your video, your visuals. For sure. I'm gonna check out the YouTube channel. That's where all that's at. The visuals. Know what
you think too, for sure.
No, for sure I will, because like I said, I'm a huge movie guy. I watch a lot. I don't necessarily watch a lot of TV, but I do enjoy movies. Yeah. I'm a huge film guy. Yeah. I'm a music person, so it's always one goal I would love to kind of help score a film one day. Yeah. Either a short film, a full feature. But yeah. I'm a huge fan of film as well. I'm always looking for a good movie to watch. If you had one movie that you suggest that I watch, what you got for me?
What kind of vibe are you looking for?
Anything. Now, action is my favorite. I love action, thriller, a little bit of mystery. Action is probably my number one favorite. Okay. But I like a good plot too. Like I love a good story.
So I'm thinking like action movies that have a good plot. Recently, we saw this movie. I'll give like a newer movie that I feel like was underrated.
Okay, what you got?
We saw this movie called Cop Shop. We saw it in theaters.
What's his name in it, isn't it?
I can't remember. I always confuse him with another actor. Was it Gerard?
Who?
Gerard Butler.
Gerard Butler.
I confuse him and the dude Frank Grillo with each other.
Okay. But it's called what now?
Cop Shop.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's directed by this dude Joe Carnahan.
Okay.
Like, he does like really good action with story. So like that's his like signature. And like we went to see it like thinking it was gonna be like a corny action movie, but it was actually super challenging and super interesting.
Okay.
And I love movies that take place like all in one day or all in one place. Which it does. It takes place in like a police precinct. Okay. So like it's super interesting. So I say that. I'm trying to think if there's any others, but that would be a great one to watch. It's newer.
Cop Shop.
Yeah, Cop Shop.
I'm gonna check that out. For sure. Yeah. Hey, this been fire though, man. Hey, this Will Cherry. Tap in. What's the Instagram one more time? Where can they find you?
Will Cherry with 3 R's.
Will Cherry with 3 R's. What's the YouTube?
YouTube is the same. Will Cherry with 3 R's.
Is it pretty much? Oh well, it's not 3 R's on
the app name. Oh, on Spotify. Spotify is just 2 R's. Like
it's regular.
2 R's. Like
that's good. That's good. Yeah. Hey, tap in somewhere in Ohio. Dropping soon. Stay tuned. He ain't gonna give you the date just yet, but you gotta. He said I ain't got to give it to you. So I ain't got it. So tap in. That just means you got to tap in and you pay attention. You feel me? Until then, run up the older music that's out.
2 singles out too. Full Metal Jacket, Genesis. So that
Genesis.
gives you a taste of.
Hey, go check out Ice, cause that's my shit. I'm gonna be bumping it. I might throw Ice on a you know how you can put a music on Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be using that soon.
Fire. Okay.
Well, I don't know what I'm gonna use it on, but just know Ice gonna pop up on something.
Bet,
That's my new shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anything else you gotta plug in to the people?
That's probably everything. Got the show, of course. That's the biggest thing. Is the
Yeah,
show
shout out the
next
show
week.
one more time. You said Grog Shop.
Grog Shop on August 23rd. It's
Mhm.
$8 advance, $10 at the door, so you can get the tickets in advance. So it'll be even cheaper.
$10 still ain't bad though.
$10 is still amazing.
I mean, for what you about to get,
yeah, it's
trust me, like
this should be like, especially with the inflation on tickets for shows.
this is
right
like
now.
a $45 at least dollar ticket.
This is anti-inflation. The show. So yeah, definitely go to that show. Tap in with me on all social media, YouTube, everything. I have way more stuff coming. I have way more content coming. Way more like different, even small like filmmaking stuff. Like I got the camera. I'm just never gonna stop. So
Oh yeah, you're just busy now.
yeah, so I'm just creating stuff, and like I'm gonna be directing videos for other people.
Okay.
So yeah, like just tap in with me.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Hey, you heard the man. Tap in. This is StreamSpace. Back at you with another one. For real though, tap in. He definitely got a good album on the way. We got some more stuff coming from us. You know, StreamSpace. We ain't going nowhere. Tomorrow, what's tomorrow? Saturday. We got a show, a live stream coming with Clay Bama. So tap in for that. That's gonna be good on a Saturday. I don't do too many weekend shows, but Clay Bama, that's my dog. So that's gonna be a good one. You hip to Clay Bama?
I'm not.
Yeah, tap in, man. Clay Bama is fire. He's another artist that kind of produces and records himself, and is really hands on.
But I definitely got to tap in.
Yeah, tap in Clay Bama. So that's gonna be cool tomorrow. But stay tuned. Somewhere in Ohio is coming. Don't miss out. We here.
Fire.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Oh, for sure. You already know. Be back soon.